And may get a few flurries, otherwise sun and cloud. For today, already reached our guaranteed high, -7. Right now in downtown Toronto, it's sunny, -8. Feels like -16. City News Time, 11:03. As tensions show no easing between Russia and Ukraine, the families of Canadian diplomats in Ukraine are being told to leave the country. City's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney joins us with the latest.
A day after our allies did so, Global Affairs Canada is now asking the families of Canadian diplomats serving at our embassy and consulate in the country to leave Ukraine. Children under 18 are being ordered to do so, along with a family member to accompany them, while family who don't fit into that category are being advised to leave. The government is also advising against any non-essential travel to Ukraine.
You hear how that works? So you just got an insight into the mentality of old school Canada.
Threat of a Russian invasion and an armed conflict. Meanwhile, the U.S. has more than 8,000 troops in a state of readiness to help NATO allies in Europe. NATO has also ordered more warships and fighter jets to the region as a deterrent to Russians. The West continues to push for a diplomatic solution. Tomorrow, Ukrainian and Russian officials will meet in Paris. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
City News Time, 11:04. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of Canada's first confirmed case of COVID-19. It was a patient at a Toronto hospital. Also today, we are just over half an hour away from Toronto's COVID-19 update as the city makes progress in booster shots.
How are we over? So it's going to be at 35 minutes?
Irene, it may seem like it went by in a flash, or it dragged on and seems like much longer than 2 years. But Sunnybrook putting out a tweet today saying it 2 years ago today, Canada's first case of COVID-19 was confirmed as at a patient in Sunnybrook Hospital. And they go on.
And you people still don't believe this is real. We've been at this for 2 years. Oh, COVID's not real. People don't die. You may think it. That's a KKK idiot telling me I don't know. My cousin works for the WHO as the head epidemiologist.
People who are hospitalized with COVID-19, 626 of them are in the ICU. And also that more than 50% of people who are eligible in the province have been given a COVID-19 booster shot. That's anybody 18 plus in Toronto. That number is more than 55%. Also looking at some provincial data when it comes to schools, 11 schools across the province are closed because of COVID outbreaks. That is less than 0.25% of the schools. The city of Toronto is holding its COVID-19 update in less than half an hour's time at 11:30. Mayor Tory, Dr. Davila, Chief Peg will be speaking. We will carry that live right here on City News 680. Reporting live, Moment Qureshi, City News.
Well, if this latest wave of the pandemic has you feeling even more stressed and anxious, you're not alone. As our Laura Carney reports, a new survey by CAMH finds COVID stress levels among Canadians
It's okay. You're supposed to panic and feel anxious. I hate you people.
Survey of Canadians' pandemic health and substance use by CAMH and was done between January 7th and January 11th. It shows a rise in the number of adult Canadians who are reporting levels of
These are the same people that says marijuana and masturbation causes schizophrenia, schizophrenic disease. You will catch schizophrenic disease.
CAMH did its first survey measuring COVID.
By the way, remember the 80s when you were treating, quote unquote, treating all those pedophiles? Because I do, because I still see these motherfuckers around. They're so fucked in the head, they think I'm 4 years old still.
One of those survey co-leads says with Omicron in full force, the relatively lower levels of mental distress reported last summer when the vaccine rollout was in full swing are now a distant memory.
That's not the relatively lower thing that we invented is now gone.
Yeah, that's promote and market skilled trades. City's Richard Southern has more.
Ontario is facing a big shortage of skilled trade workers. In fact, the province estimated to need about 350,000 such workers by 2025. So the Ford government today is launching a new Crown agency to help tackle this
garbage. I might eat it.
Labor Minister Monty McDonald says it'll be called Skilled Trades Ontario.
The only thing that I'm doing is to end this.
Chilean blueberries and white people bacteria. That's helpful. You know what happens when I eat this? I puke every time.
Employers to bring on more apprentices. These are exciting, lucrative careers. You can start your own business. Make six figures with defined pensions and benefits.
The government contends the agency's new online services will help apprentices better manage their careers with things like online scheduling for classes and exams. Richard Southern, City News.
Well, it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to add to the already massive snowbanks from last week's blizzard. And on the heels of yesterday's fresh snowfall.
All the snow you idiots keep pushing into the road, and the next day, it's on the side, because you're pushing it back where they're trying to clear it from. Oh, you need the drain clear for it to melt? I'm going to put 8 tons of snow on top and pat myself on the back. And when Richie walks by and calls me an idiot, I'm going to cry. That happened. He didn't cry yet, but in front of me.
Taller than me. Where you put last night's snow? You can't reach up that high with the shovel.
Taller.
I'm so tired.
So first of all, you throw the snow, so it doesn't matter how tall you are, stupid.
Snowbanks here downtown. And now that it's all frozen solid, you got to watch you don't fall down too. So when you're climbing over, you slip, and then you tumble down there.
So that's why we're putting salt on it now. Now that it's -20, we're going to put salt. Idiots are out there putting Alaskan ice melter on it today. We've had 10 days to put ice melter on it. They're doing it today.
Carl Heskey, City News.
For 8 days.
Police have released more information about a vehicle involved in a fatal hit and run near
more solid.
Weston Road and the 401. It happened around 11 o'clock on Saturday night. Police say the driver of a black 2004 to 2005 BMW 3 Series hit a man while he was crossing the street. The 52-year-old victim was pronounced dead in hospital. Police say the vehicle will have damage to the front passenger side headlight and a missing passenger side mirror. It will also have a damaged front lower left bumper and a broken windshield on the passenger side. You can see a photo on the Toronto Police website.
I've never seen a stem on an orange. I've never seen that before.
City News Time, 11:09.
This is City News 680. Think all office chairs are the same? Then you haven't experienced an ergocentric chair. Ergocentric chairs are recommended by 94% of ergonomists. And ergocentric chairs are made for you right here in Ontario. To learn more, please visit ergocentric.com or visit our showroom and stores at the King Edward Hotel, the Square One Shopping Center, or our new larger store in the Yorkdale Shopping Center. Ergocentric, the science of sitting.
Now, the City News gas price update. Pro predicts the price will not change at midnight, staying at $1.47.9 a liter. Coming up, traffic and weather.
We did the math on that. That's like $4 or $5.
11:10.
Hey there.
It's like $5.50.
I'm Tom C. Slater, president of the Simple Investor. I'd like to congratulate everyone who took part in our new North Bay release. 3-bedroom townhomes for only $229,900. The demand was so great, we sold out all 3 phases in one day. We have more.
Yeah, well, that don't mean much.
Keep it clean. We don't need to go to the lengths that this person went to. That was not a callback to the icky story, by the way, that started this line of conversation. But 416-870-6400. I'm just wondering, is there anything you recall doing when you were an idiot? Back in the day, when you were young, inappropriate behavior on the job, maybe you or a friend could have seen you sacked. Hey, did you ever do anything inappropriate back in the day? Oh boy,
yeah.
Here we go.
I mean,
Here
it was fun.
Pull up a chair.
I worked at a place called Rebound Sports, and we sold like used sports equipment. So when it got, when it was dead, we backed onto a big empty parking lot at the time, and we would go out there and hit golf balls, or one of us would put on the used goalie equipment and we'd take shots on each other, or we'd play stomp.
Construction.
Good, clean fun. What's stomp? Just good, clean fun.
In the express, really heavy out towards approaching Mississauga Road. Southbound 400 delays because of this crash cleanup at ESSA. 2 right lanes are blocked off. Again, northbound, we had problems, but that has been cleared away. Still with a delay here through ESSA on the northbound side of the 400. Just pretty terrible conditions through the entire morning around the north end of the 400. So watch yourself.
Where does that come from? That is a machine.
Approaching Shepherd down through Trippz south of Lawrence. Eastbound QEW problems cleared around here, Ontario, still with construction popping up east of Dixie. It's 2 right lanes that they're working in, and that's slowing you down from about Cawthra now. And good news on the 40 rebound QEW on the approach to the upside of the Skyway. Crash is cleared away. A bit of a delay here from North Shore, but that should start to ease
plow it into the
rapidly.
fucking lake.
North Toyota is a state-of-the-art 106,000 square foot automotive experience. Visit the showroom or online.
And this is, of course, Nepalese hemp, supposedly.
That's reports at 11:21. Here's a look at the forecast. It's a chilly one with Jill Taylor. And cloud for us today, chance of a few flurries. We've already reached our guaranteed high. It was -7 early this morning. For the rest of the day, about -9, -10. Could get a few flurries overnight, but it's cold. -20 for the low, feeling like -30.
When your bungee cord snaps, save the hooks.
Sun and cloud, and the high just -10. For today, already reached our guaranteed high, -7.
City News Weather Alert.
And Environment Canada just issuing an extreme cold warning. It extends from Halton Peel. It includes the GTA, north to Algonquin, and east to the Quebec border. We're looking at wind chill values near -30 tomorrow. Right now, downtown it's -8 and sunny. It is -9 at Pearson. City News time, 11:13. Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute live from the Business Center. And Chris McCusker, do markets have a bit of a chill?
Yes, you could say that, Irene, although in fairness, very similar picture this time yesterday, and we did see that comeback, at least on Wall Street. The Dow right now is down 484. At one point, it was down 700 points, so it's off the low for the day. That's all I got as far as a bright spot at the moment. The S&P down 84, and the NASDAQ up by 384. So the NASDAQ, the big loser right now, down 2.7%. The TSX lower by 1.4%. That's a drop of 293 points, 20,278. Gold is higher by $4, 18.48. Oil up by $1.36 to 84.67, and the Canadian dollar down by 179.10 cents US. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
One resolution worth keeping this year: invest better with financial advice. Speak to a financial advisor today and visit dynamic.ca/advice to discover the value of financial advice. When it's time to really get to work, head to Work and Wear for the largest selection of work boots, workwear, and PPE in the Toronto area. Work and Wear, a family-owned and operated business serving the industry since 1975. Proudly offering a huge choice of safety footwear, workwear, and gloves, plus the largest selection of PPE in the city and the most knowledgeable staff to help you choose. Work and Wear in Markham or Scarborough, and workandwear.ca. Today, Rima made a good choice. And I'm not referring to her nurturing her son's love of music, which I'm sure will sound magical in time. No, the good choice she made. Vieillissement.
Drive, but we're going to start with some good news. We need some of that, to have a little bit of.
Worst reactions may occur. Talk to your healthcare professional to see if the vaccine is right for you. Brought to you by Moderna.
The HIV vaccine, the B19 vaccine, what are we talking about? So I picked up a can of construction adhesive off the road yesterday, and it was cold, so I shoved it under my arm, walking like this, and now it's all over my clothes.
Top stories this hour. As tensions show no sign
I thought it was going to stick all my layers of clothes together.
in Ukraine, the families of diplomats in Ukraine, Canadian diplomats, are being told to leave.
Oh, gee, which ones did you think they meant?
Huge military presence at the border with speculation and invasion is in the works. Today,
Speculation. The invasion started in 2014. It hasn't ended yet. Ever since the end of the Korean War. What year was that? It hasn't happened yet.
626 in the ICU. Also today we're about
Guaranteed when I see you,
Toronto's COVID
gonna
update.
be in the
And a blast of Arctic air will make it dangerously cold in parts of Ontario. For that reason, Environment Canada has issued an extreme cold warning. It includes Halton and Peel, as well as Toronto, north to Algonquin, and as far east as the Quebec border. Time now for sports from Sportsnet 590, The Fan, Caroline Frolick. Irene, the Raptors are hoping for a stronger start tonight as they play host to the Hornets. In the Raps' last game, which was a 114-105 loss to Portland, Toronto entered the half 30.
Elle dit porter le nom de paralysie agitante. Et je trouve que ça décrit bien, en quelque sorte, la maladie. Et c'est quelques décennies plus tard, et on reste quand même dans les années 1800, où on a donné le nom à cette maladie, le nom de James Parkinson, donc la maladie de Parkinson. J'aurais pu aussi vous poser une autre question, Pénélope. Par exemple, quelle est la maladie dégénérative la plus prévalente après la maladie d'Alzheimer? Et vous auriez pu me répondre aussi la maladie de Parkinson. J'aurais pu aussi vous poser la question, quelle est la deuxième cause de handicap moteur chez l'adulte après l'AVC? Et vous auriez pu aussi me répondre la maladie de Parkinson.
Chez l'adulte de façon générale, pas juste les adultes de plus de 70 ans. Là.
Tout à fait. On parle de handicap moteur. Il y aurait beaucoup de nuances à apporter à la maladie de Parkinson, au syndrome parkinsonien. Aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé de la maladie de Parkinson.
Always fill them halfway. Use the smaller dish, dumbass.
Directement, les proches. Et on peut tous nommer 3 personnes atteintes de la maladie de Parkinson, des proches ou des personnes qu'on a connues. C'est quelque chose c'est une maladie qui est très prévalente. C'est une maladie neurodégénérative qui est principalement caractérisée par la destruction progressive de certains neurones qui sont situés à une région bien précise dans le cerveau, qui est responsable du contrôle des mouvements et particulièrement les mouvements automatiques. Des exemples de mouvements automatiques, la marche, l'écriture. C'est des mouvements, des séries de mouvements qu'on fait tous les jours probablement. Quelles sont les causes de la maladie de Parkinson? On ne comprend pas exactement très bien pourquoi.
Colors and clarities. With Air Direct, conditions apply.
City News Time approaching 11:19. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has more legal problems. Prosecutors
2 seconds
have
away.
been authorized to form a special grand jury as they investigate possible criminal disruptions with the 2020 election.
Fulton County prosecutors have received court approval to seat a special grand jury as part of an investigation into whether former President Trump and others broke the law by trying to pressure Georgia officials to throw out President Biden's election victory in the state. The investigation includes looking at a phone call from January 2020, during which Trump told state elections officials,
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
Audio there from the Washington Post. Trump denies any wrongdoing. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Massive snowstorms have hit parts of Turkey and Greece. Crews in Istanbul are trying to clear roads buried under up to 80 centimeters of snow.
There was also 2 little Gouda cheeses, baby those.
In cars, while others abandoned their vehicles and simply tried to walk home. The army was sent out overnight to deliver food and water to vehicles and to help free as many as possible. Coming up, traffic and weather together. City News Time.
That natural gas fired cab heater don't sound so bad now, do it?
Dream Coach. Let's start with Dream Pose. Eyes closed. Deep breath. Visualize winning Tuesday's Motomax jackpot of an estimated $15 million.
So it is 4:20 p.m. Universal Time, if you care.
Limited time.
Fuck, man.
For Montreal's orchestra.
Trippz, excuse me, at the
You can tell the assistants in the kitchen are getting mad that they're doing everything they can to try to make it. They're being forced to follow every food handling rule, but it is so bland. You can tell they're getting mad. They've been trying to make people sick for years over there.
Length, the left lane is closed, still with delays from south to Bayfield.
के लिए बड़ा जरूरी है कि आप
Two kinds of diamonds, earth diamonds and artisan created diamonds. And
including for snowplows. Although the city warns you can expect longer response times for snow-related service requests. Richmond Hill has elected a new mayor. Unofficial results of yesterday's by-election show Ward 4 Councillor David West received just over 33% of the vote. West tells the Richmond Hill Liberal that he is thrilled with the results and is looking forward to getting to work on all things that need to be done. The city's acting mayor, Joe DiPaola, came in fourth. The results will be made official once they are certified by the city clerk. Still to come, another day of losses on Bay and Wall Street. The business report 60 seconds away. City News Time 11:25.
If cancer were a place, nearly the entire
It is 100% splendid. You just heard music by the Scottish Baroque composer William McGibbon, his Sonata No. 5 with Chatham Baroque today.
A big comeback yesterday. The Dow swung 1,200.
Is kind of the center for memory. But it's not as simple as that, because how does information get stored in there? And like I was talking about, working memory. So there's different parts of the brain that are involved in getting that information there. And so, you know, we're talking about very specific areas like the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, all these, a wide array of parts. And, you know, I don't want to go through a list because someone might be listening and say, well, you forgot this area. And they'd be right.
Oh, don't worry about it. It happens all the time on my show.
There's a lot involved there. Yeah.
So, you know, you mentioned, though, that this is all because we have this primal urge to stay alive, right? We need to make sense of our world so that we stay alive. But how does that explain me remembering Shaggy from Scooby-Doo with an Adam's apple? Like, why should that matter? And is this, would this change with the way, you know, as we evolve and as, you know, we talk more about gender fluidity? Would that have been a reason, like we have to file everything under, you know, certain categories. And when you're growing up, maybe it was either girl or boy at the time when we were watching Scooby-Doo. Is that why we remember him with an Adam's apple? What's going on?
Well, I think, well, there's a number of reasons.
This isn't real. This is pretending to be real. This is not
a number of reasons for it. But, you know,
they're pretending. They made that a false premise.
$18.50, oil up by $1.33 to 84.64, and the Canadian dollar's higher by 179.16 cents US. Interest rates very likely going up in Canada. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Toronto's
For breaking news, traffic and weather.
Of course, the conference is about to start. Let's kill the fucking sound. Jesus Christ, I hope that kicks back in a minute. Oh, there's not much nothing in there.
City News Time, 11:30.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is City News 680, everywhere.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 25th. I'm Sarah Harris. And I'm Irene Precklett. Here's what's making news this hour.
It may be hard to believe, but it's been 2 years since the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in Ontario. The city of Toronto is holding its COVID update in moments. We'll go to it live.
After initially rejecting a meeting with the Ontario Nurses Association, the Premier's office says Doug Ford...
Well, the timing of this is perfect.
But not until next month.
Families of Canadian diplomats are being asked to leave Ukraine as tensions keep rising over the possibility of a Russian invasion.
It's time to brace for the bitter cold. An extreme cold weather alert now in effect as temperatures set to reach the mid-20s without the wind. Turns out that Oops Lift is legit. Team Canada releases its men's hockey roster officially. This time, sports at 45. The TSX lower for a 6th day. It's down by more than 200 points. The Dow off by more than 300, with interest rate announcements coming tomorrow. Business at 56. City News Time, 11:31. And happening now, let's go live to the City of Toronto's COVID briefing.
The deadly virus was reported in Toronto exactly 2 years ago today. I want to acknowledge the real tragedy and the loss and the illness that this virus has brought to literally thousands of families inside the City of Toronto over those 2 years. I think the best thing we can do to help to bring a degree of comfort, but also to bring the pandemic to an end, is to continue the work that we have been doing as a city within our mandate to help to bring the pandemic to an end. And since that day 2 years ago, every element of what has come to be known as Team Toronto, led by the people of Toronto themselves, That team has worked nonstop together and effectively, and including together with the other governments, to handle an often rapidly changing health crisis, as well as anywhere in the world, much as we know that there is lots left for us to do. Top of the list, Team Toronto has worked nonstop to help residents get vaccinated, and we now have more than 90% of the residents 12 years and older with at least their first dose of vaccine. And in the face of the threat from the Omicron variant, we ramped up vaccination capacity and have ensured that more than 55.5% of eligible residents already have their third dose. It was great to see this progress in action at the Vax the Northwest Clinic on Sunday at York University, where almost 1,700 residents came out to get vaccinated. I want to thank everyone who worked on this effort to get residents in the Northwest some help to get themselves vaccinated. We heard this morning on our strategic COVID table call that 51% of those who attended were walk-ins. That is a great turnout and a credit to the strong outreach effort in the community by the community itself. I want to again thank the team who made the event possible. It's a long list, but that's because Team Toronto is a big team. Toronto Public Health, Humber River Hospital, University Health Network, who, for example, moved the entire pharmacy function from downtown to the Northwest for that day. Black Creek Community Health Center, Unison Community Health Center. They supplied a lot of the people that went out and were trusted to bring people, local residents, to the vaccination clinic. Tennis Canada and York University, who are our hosts, and the TTC, who did a great job with buses. They contributed to the cause to get people, hundreds of people, to the vaccine clinic.
Yes, but they closed all the vents and windows.
Without exception, to have access continues, and that is for first, second, third doses, and for children. This morning, we have opened up 4,167 new COVID-19 vaccine appointments for this Sunday and Monday at the city-run vaccination clinics. And so those can be accessed in the usual manner through the provincial booking system, which can be most easily reached through toronto.ca. If you need your first, second, or third dose, please sign up for these appointments and get vaccinated. Dr. Davila will be detailing today the work that Toronto Public Health is doing now to make sure we have hyper-local mobile clinics. We've been doing this throughout, but we're going to be having a renewed focus on hyper-local mobile clinics offering third doses in areas where we know that vaccination rates are low and that we need to get them up higher. The leadership of Team Toronto, including the three of us, remain absolutely determined that no Torontonian will be left behind. And our renewed focus on hyperlocal reflects our recognition of the challenge that we face in delivering safe vaccine protection to often marginalized populations in our city. And that work continues day in and day out. I'm proud to announce today that we'll be hosting another super supportive and accessible COVID-19 vaccination clinic next week. The clinic will be held on Monday, January the 31st, from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 8 o'clock at night at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. The City of Toronto, in partnership with the Accessibility Task Force on COVID-19 vaccines, will be hosting a vaccination clinic for individuals with disabilities. Organizations such as Silent Voice, Balance for Blind Adults, and the Canadian Centre for Caregiving Excellence will be on site to provide supports and accommodations alongside Toronto Public Health. The clinic will be open to anyone born in 2016 or earlier for first, second, or third doses. Moderna will be available for those aged 30 plus and Pfizer for those aged 5 to 29. This is a physically accessible clinic location, which is meant to fully accommodate those with mobility and other challenges facing them, including individuals
just like every other city facility
those who need a quiet
everywhere.
space to get vaccinated or someone to sit down while waiting, those who need a companion with them as they get vaccinated, or those, for example, who need an ASL interpreter. This super supportive clinic is one of many we have worked on with the Accessibility Task Force to operate throughout the COVID-19 vaccination effort. And I want to thank the task force for working with us to make these clinics possible, including the one, as mentioned again, Monday, January 31st at the Metropolitan Toronto Convention Centre. And again, that information is available on toronto.ca. As you've heard me say before, I'm very proud of the work the city continues to do in modernizing and digitizing service delivery. The past 2 years in particular have demonstrated both the necessity and the convenience of digital options. Modernization of services is good for
your
everyone.
website don't
Greater
work for
choice
shit. I've been trying to pull it up
for
for 5
residents,
minutes.
cost savings for the city. People want simple and modern digital options. We know Toronto residents and businesses and visitors want and need better and more efficient digital and self-serve options that are easy to use and available on the device and on the channel and at the time of their choosing. Today, I'm happy to announce the launch of the 311 Toronto mobile app, part of our improved 311 Toronto service experience. It now makes it even easier to access 311 Toronto. 311 Toronto is the front door gateway to city information, to programs, and to services. And of course, it will continue to be available to Torontonians in the way that they're accustomed to, through the phone, through email, through the web, and on social media. But now we have added an app. You have the choice as to how you wish to use any of these channels to connect with 311, any service, any device, any channel. You may recall that last November when we launched the new and improved 311 online experience, a modern upgraded web platform offering more choice and enhanced services for users. Now, all the great features of that new platform are available right at your fingertips on your phone. And so, for example, people will be able to use the app to create a service request for any of the more than 600 different services 311 provides. They will be able to track the request themselves from beginning to end with live status updates sent to their personal device. They'll be able to have a live chat with a 311 agent online and many more features like that.
Oh, that's helpful.
There are other extra
New
benefits
ways
as well
to talk to people who refuse to do the job.
You can use your device's camera to take a photo and attach it directly to your service.
You can do that already with an email.
That way, the 311 team
This isn't new and this isn't appropriate. You're supposed to be talking about COVID, stupid.
Resulting in even more efficiencies. You can use the GPS.
Oh, it's fully accessible as all city properties are required by law to be provincial law.
In your neighborhood that have been submitted by others or yourself, or explore points of interest near you, such as the civic centers, the libraries.
Explore points of interest.
So all of this is in the cause of faster and better service.
In the
that provides
cause.
greater
In pursuit of the cause.
And that is what this app will bring. Despite the ongoing challenges of the pandemic, I'm glad that we've been able to move forward with these kinds of improvements in service delivery and launch this app today for residents so that they can use it.
I don't even
right
want
away.
to fucking listen to this.
Tomorrow is Bell Let's Talk Day.
Oh,
and I
for
look forward
fuck's
to both
sake!
taking part and also to doing my part to encourage people to talk about mental health. This mental health initiative has helped unite Canadians year after year in the world's biggest conversation about mental health, working to break the stigma around mental illness. I believe that mental health and many associated issues will be one of the defining challenges of the coming years, let alone it being a defining challenge in front of us right now. It's been made worse by the experiences of the pandemic for people of all ages. The state of our collective mental health has declined, including for many young people. And our willingness to talk about it, not just tomorrow, but let's start with tomorrow, our willingness to talk about it and do more to address it will have a great deal to do with our ability to continue to succeed as a Canadian society, given the terrible toll that mental illness takes on many fronts. I want to thank Chief Pig in advance of his remarks today for delivering an important message through his remarks on this topic, which are very honest and open. His remarks are, and they're important as a way of starting this conversation.
I tried to pull it up on the Bluetooth speaker. I can't get it.
For her update for today.
Thank you, Mayor Tory, and good morning. Today marks exactly 2 years since the first case of COVID-19.
Since we admitted that we knew what COVID was.
There is no question that
that
since that Saturday morning, 2 years ago, COVID-19 has brought unprecedented challenges and has affected.
You looked up what day of the week it was, but you've said nothing useful in the last fucking 2 years.
Sadly, we've experienced.
I'm taking classes to emote more so you will relate to me and how important I am and my health is so. This is what she's been doing for 2 years.
Toronto residents have lost their lives to COVID-19. And thousands more have been admitted to the hospital or to intensive care. I extend my deepest sympathies to all those who've experienced tragedy because of this virus.
Hands.
And my sincere thanks to the healthcare workers, families, and friends who have provided care.
Except for the World Health Organization, because we still argue with them every day that they don't know what they're talking about, and we yell at their representatives here every fucking day that they're niggers and need to shut up.
Whether adapting to new ways of working learning, parenting, or socializing with friends and family.
It's not new, you moron. This internet thing is so brand new.
Never expected.
It's only 80 years old.
Still, I also see reasons for hope and optimism. Torontonians have demonstrated an incredible collective strength and resilience.
You just mispronounced Torontonians?
Your commitment to care for each other and to do everything within your power to stop the spread of COVID-19 is inspiring. We have also come a long way in our understanding of COVID-19 and in our ability to respond to it.
No, you haven't.
Thanks to the never-ceasing efforts of Toronto public health staff, healthcare workers.
Really, the people that argue, spit in my face and break every fucking rule possible.
We are in a much better position to fight the spread of COVID-19 than we were 2 years ago.
No, we're not, obviously. Like, it's fucking literally right in your face that it's not. You couldn't be telling a more obvious lie.
We know that measures like masking, physical distancing, increasing ventilation, reducing our contacts, and staying home when we're sick all help.
How about wearing a proper mask
of COVID-19? As we find ourselves in the midst of the Omicron wave, it is clear that these measures are having an impact.
Really? You're retarded.
Despite record case counts, we are seeing less severe outcomes, especially amongst those who've had 3 doses of COVID-19 vaccine.
Among, not amongst, you fucking idiot. I'm going to try to sound smarter so I look more white. You're a fucking idiot, because that's what will impress us, so we'll start listening to you, even though you're lying.
Hospitalized and admitted to the ICU at much lower rates than those who are unvaccinated. And since vaccine is one of our most effective tools to reduce the impact of
reduce the
COVID-19,
operating cost of the hospital,
our efforts to vaccinate as many Toronto residents as possible have not stopped for more than a year.
And you achieved the goal 6 months ago, so you're obviously lying about that.
We increased our capacity quickly, creating as many vaccination opportunities as possible. This
even though every scientist everywhere said you can't vaccinate your way out of an epidemic, it's too late.
Vaccines available at community-based clinics, pharmacies, and family doctors' offices across the city. This has been nothing short of remarkable, and my thanks go to all those who helped make this happen. However, our work is not yet done.
She said that's a double entendre.
In the coming weeks, Team Toronto will shift our focus to a data-driven, hyper-local, mobile and pop-up clinic strategy.
So you weren't doing a data-driven approach all this time?
Focusing on local and community-based
what about the race-based data?
To increase vaccine uptake, particularly for pediatric and 3rd doses.
Because they're only at 94%.
Vaccination coverage is lower than the Toronto average. I'm sure many of you recall when earlier last year, we brought vaccine clinics to malls, to subway stations, places of worship,
all the places you shouldn't have people gathering, and you turned off the ventilation at every spot.
Toronto partners, we will again focus our efforts and resources to returning to these settings. And
go watch video of India dealing with Delta. There's fans everywhere blowing the air. Look at Toronto's videos. There's fans everywhere turned off.
Toronto Public Health will be roughly doubling our mobile staff resources over the next several weeks.
Oh, that's helpful.
We will continue our focused outreach with 155 community agencies, 410 neighborhood ambassadors, and hundreds of thousands of phone calls and text messages to support people getting
just
vaccinated.
Like all the other text messages you send out that don't do shit.
We will also continue our efforts to maximize vaccine uptake amongst 5 to 11-year-olds.
Because 94% isn't high enough. These little kids are refusing their shots for something they're not susceptible to. And the shot is a higher risk than the COVID to them. That's already been statistically proven.
We will continue to provide school-based clinics both during and after the school day. While our Toronto Public Health immunization clinics will remain an important component of our vaccination strategy, providing both booked and increasingly walk-in appointments, we will be shifting some staff and resources to allow us to maximize community and neighborhood-specific vaccination opportunities. Last week, the province announced plans to begin to loosen some restrictions as of January 31st. As that date approaches and in-person interactions increase, it will be important that we all do our part to increase vaccine coverage and support safe reopening. We've all been through so much over the past 2 years. Let's reflect on all that we have been through and all that we have learned. Let's protect the progress we've made, and together look to the year ahead with optimism and with hope. I'll now turn it over to Chief Pegg to deliver his remarks for today.
Thank you, Dr. Davila, and good morning. I'm pleased to report that we are continuing to see a favorable trend across our emergency services with respect to unplanned absences as a result of COVID-19. Over the past 3 weeks, our unplanned absences
everybody's showing up sick now because they know it doesn't matter.
Have continued to decrease each week. In fire services, our operating unplanned absence rate has improved from 9.7% during the week of December 23rd to 3.5% to date this week. Likewise, in paramedic services, our operating unplanned absence rate has improved from 19.3% during the week of December 23rd to 7.8% to date this week. This is testament to the effectiveness of the unplanned absence mitigation strategies that each of our city services have been implementing since the outset of the Omicron wave of COVID-19.
Bullshit.
With all active city staff being fully vaccinated against COVID-19, Toronto has continued to provide emergency, essential, and critical services in response to
So that means you fired everybody else. That's why you're short, you asshole.
Once again acknowledge and thank each and every member of our team who continues to report for duty each day, accept extended and overtime shifts as required, and for going above and beyond to ensure the continued delivery of the services that our residents rely on every day. Yesterday, our emergency and essential services operated with an average unplanned absence rate of 7.3%. Between December 24th and January 24th, our emergency and essential services operated with an average unplanned absence rate of 12.1%. From a citywide perspective, yesterday, we operated with an average unplanned absence rate of 5.2% across all the city divisions. Yesterday, Toronto Paramedic Services operated with 120 ambulances on the road and an unplanned absence rate of 7.8%. Also yesterday, Toronto Fire Services operated with all 124 frontline trucks and crews in service and an unplanned absence rate of 3.5%. Fire services are continuing to respond to additional low-priority paramedic calls each day where there is no clear indication of a patient or injury. Each of our other emergency
because you started this paramedicine shit,
including Toronto Police, Toronto Water, TTC,
5 years after everybody else did,
support and housing, senior services and long-term care, children's services, and our city-operated COVID-19 vaccine clinics also continue to provide exceptional service to Toronto residents, and I thank them also. As the situation with COVID-19 has evolved, so have our planning and response, and this work is continuing every day. In closing today, I would like to acknowledge that tomorrow is Bell Let's Talk Day in support of mental health. Bell Let's Talk is a wide-reaching, multi-year program designed to break the silence around mental illness and support mental health all across Canada. Tomorrow, on Bell Let's Talk Day, Bell will donate even more towards mental health initiatives in Canada by contributing 5 cents for every applicable text, call, tweet, or TikTok video using the Bell Let's Talk hashtag, social media video view, and each of their Facebook frame or Snapchat lens. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, the challenges associated with mental health have increased across our city and beyond. Continuing to do my part and using the public platform that I am afforded as Toronto's fire chief to further eliminate the stigma associated with getting professional help to both get healthy and stay healthy is very important to me. Over the course of my life and my career as a first responder, I have witnessed the realities of stress injuries firsthand. I've also seen far too many examples where good people are afraid to speak up, reach out, or seek help when they need it, for fear of being stigmatized or looked down on as a result. There is nothing weak about seeking help to maintain your mental health. In fact, from my perspective, this is one of the true indicators of strength. While it often feels like an overused statement, it is okay not to be okay. It is also okay to be okay. The stresses of life, work, and family affect each of us in different ways and at different times. And there is no standardized nor correct response to any particular event or situation. The same situation or event will affect everyone in different ways and at different times. COVID-19 has taken a toll on the mental health of many, as these pressures add to the already often heavy loads being carried by so many of our family members, friends, colleagues, and residents. Ensuring that I continue to remain resilient and strong has been an important factor in maintaining my ability to bring the very best that I have to offer in my role as fire chief and as the City of Toronto's incident commander for COVID-19 each and every day. In days gone by, it would have been considered a sign of weakness for a fire chief to speak openly about mental health, let alone for a fire chief to admit that they seek the services of a psychologist in order to remain mentally strong and resilient. I want you to know that I feel absolutely no shame, no embarrassment, and no fear in being open about the fact that I work with a psychologist who helps me to remain mentally healthy, strong, and resilient. In fact, my next appointment with him is scheduled for next week, and I'm looking forward to checking in and to make sure that I continue to remain both strong and resilient. In response to the challenges associated with COVID-19, these meetings pivoted from being held in person to online, and I find both formats equally beneficial and effective. I share that with you today in hopes that even one person might feel empowered to reach out or to ask for help to maintain their own mental health or resilience, because if it's okay for me, it's okay for you too. Tomorrow, on Bell Let's Talk Day, let's all do our part to raise much needed money for mental health in Canada. Let's also do our part to make conversations about mental health and wellness as common and comfortable as the discussions we have about COVID-19 and other illnesses. Take a minute to check in with the people you care about and to check in with yourself too. And if you need help or supports to maintain your health and resilience, seek out that help without fear or hesitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you for your advocacy. We'll now go to questions. The first up is Mark McAllister from City News. Mark, go ahead, please.
Good morning. A question for Dr. DeVilla to start. It's another question that I had asked you a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sure others have as well, with regards to vaccination rates for the age group of 5 to 11. I'm curious, at this point, as of today, we're hearing 53% have received their first dose in Toronto. Again, the trajectory of that line seems to be leveling off compared to 26% at the beginning of December. I'm wondering what more specifically is being done to target parents and caregivers to get those younger people their shot beyond the general outreach and the hyper-local campaigns that you're starting to participate in now.
So, Mark, that's a great question. And let me start off with the broader vaccination effort in Toronto. and then bring it down to the specifics of the 5 to 11 campaign. So when I look overall at our vaccination efforts here in Toronto, I mean, we are a world leader when it comes to vaccinations, particularly when you look at large municipalities. We have over 90% of our population, as the mayor just mentioned in his remarks this morning, over 90% of our population 12 years of age or older that has at least one dose of vaccine on board. And this took some time, absolutely. And there were parts of the campaign that went very quickly and parts that took a little more time and effort to get there. And I think we're seeing the exact same thing here with our 5 to 11-year-old campaign. Yes, we had a good start and we're continuing to see uptake, but we know that in order to get to the levels of coverage that we would like, we need to use a variety of different strategies. And the good news is that we actually have those strategies at our disposal, and we have some success in using them. So part and parcel of that is using a combination of larger immunization clinics along with hyper-local mobile and pop-up clinics to actually get people vaccine opportunities that are convenient and readily accessible to them. The other component of the campaign obviously involves making sure that people have the information that they need to make good decisions for their children, which in this case means getting the protective benefit of vaccine. So we've held town halls and we have community ambassadors and trusted local partners and agencies who are out there bringing this message directly to parents